Hello and welcome to this update video on the T1 Cargo bike from Fiido, and I want to make an update on the battery. Previously I was saying that I'd found that this bike was giving, I think, about 25 miles if you ride it in full blast in PAS 3, top level, very fast on throttle only, pretty much. I've had a bit of an update the last few days. I have made the point of riding it in PAS 2 and it's much better. With PAS 2 we're getting something in the order of 38 miles per charge. So what I did was I went on my usual run out the coast in PAS 2, and that's about 12.5 or 13 miles, let's say 12.5, and only with PAS 2 I found that it used about 33% of the battery, roughly. So 3 times that will give you close to 40, just maybe a bit under, probably 37, 38 miles for the battery. So that's great news, that's really good. Now, what penalty do you have to pay in order to ride around in PAS 2? So I was saying in previous video, I'll turn it on here, I should. Here. So PAS 2, there it is. Just click on PAS 2. So if you have it on, if you ride around on PAS 2, it goes up to around 30 kilometers per hour. This speedo is in kilometers only. So 30 kilometers is about 19 miles per hour. Now that's very fast, so that's with the motor. When you go above that, you still have a bit of pedal left in this to go above it. So if you're on the flat, as soon as you go above the 19 miles per hour, the motor cuts out, in fact, and you're on the pedals alone. And it's pretty easy, really, to sustain just pedaling at that. You could be pedaling at, 21 or 22 miles per hour or something like that on the flat. So I did this on a long ride, and it's really good because 20 miles per hour is really fast, in fact, going through traffic and all of that. And if you're doing longer runs or whatever, your typical cycling speed, actually, is about 20 miles per hour, probably 18 in many cases. So it's really plenty fast if you're going places and you're out for the day or whatever it is. If for a slight slope, you come to a slope or a hill, you're going up a hill, then your speed will naturally drop a little bit, and as soon as it drops, the motor automatically kicks in. You don't have to push any throttle or anything else, and it'll bring you back up, so it'll maintain the speed. And it works out very good, actually, very smooth, really. And the transition between motor and without motor on the pedals when the motor cuts out, it's very smooth transition, really. So it's really good. It's a really good way of getting around, and it keeps you at a steady, more or less 19 or 20 miles per hour, 21 or 22 maybe. And it works out very good, and it's got a great benefit, obviously, for the battery. So it's great news. So I'm delighted with that. So it brings up this battery, in my estimation, quite a bit. It makes a much more useful bike, being able to go, close to 40 miles or just under 40 miles per charge. That's pretty good. Now, in addition to that, I spoke in the other video about utilizing this other battery here, this the Shengmilo one, and I'm ordering from AliExpress the cradle, that the holder for this battery, and I'm going to marry it onto that battery and wire it up, and therefore I'll have a substitute battery to be able to put in here, a smaller one, only half the size, about 6, actually it's, let's see, it's 3 kilos, which is about 7 pounds in weight, as opposed to this one here, which is actually 6 kilos in weight, which is 13.2 pounds. So a big weight saving, and it's a 17 amp hour battery instead of a 20. So with that other battery, I will be able to go probably something like 32 miles or 30 to 32 miles for a charge on that other battery. So with the spare battery between the two, you could go 60 or 65 miles realistically between the two batteries. Okay, so when you buy those Shengmilo batteries, it's the one there on this bike here, out in the MX-02. When you buy an MX-02 battery as a spare, it comes with a spare case. You have to buy the cradle, I think, separately, but it did come with the spare case for carrying, and this is the carrying case here, and it's designed specially for the battery, and this enables you to actually fit it on the back of this carrier because it's got velcro straps that go under the carrier. Therefore it's specially geared up so that you can carry your spare battery. So it means with the two batteries I'll be able to go, you know, between 60 and 70 miles, realistically probably 65 miles in fact. So that means you can go out for the day and travel a bit. Fair bit of weight with both batteries. Meantime, if you're only going around town or you're just going across town or somewhere that you're not doing huge miles, you'd probably revert to using the smaller battery because you're shedding weight and the bike is lighter and all of that. So good news anyway, so that's on order. The only thing I have to do with that little change is to get a connector if I can. This is the battery connector, the 2-pin connector here that will fit in, and I'll have to find a 2-pin plug suitable to be able to solder onto the other battery, so every time I put in the other battery, the light one, I'll be able to plug it into the socket there. But I don't think it's a big deal. I don't think it'll be too difficult. So that's good, that's exciting, that's nice. Okay, now let me just talk about other things about the bike, and particularly luggage and carrying rucksacks and so on. Previously I complained about this bar being too wide for rucksacks, and it really is. And this rucksack here has actually fallen off in the past 2 days twice. And this is a real pain because I don't want to lose a rucksack, and in fact I could have very easily, if I was in a very busy place with traffic or on a fast road or whatever, I mightn't notice it falling off and you could lose it. You could lose it back a mile, then you'd lose it completely. So it's a bit of a potential disaster. So what I've done here is I was able to remove this wooden piece here and put her in here like this, and it's now locked in better because it's been held down by the wooden frame. So that's working, that's okay. It's also Velcro strapped in there. Just about, and that helps obviously keep things steadier because it is a useful sack. But incidentally, the Velcro strap on this particular case that was put in here for stability that actually broke off completely. So hopefully it'll be useful. So one thing that's great, I have to say, is the front carrier for carrying these things. When that other rucksack broke, I was able to hook it on here no problem and go all the way home with it. And here's another one that, as you can see, it just works out perfect if you wanted to carry it. No problem, strap it there at the front, and it's absolutely no impact at all if you're flying along with extra weight on the front. You don't feel anything. There's no difference between having weight on the front or having weight on the back. This bike can really carry lots of weight. That's not a problem at all. And in fact, I have a big rucksack there I'll show it to you now, and I actually had it bungee to put across there. Here's the rucksack in particular. Now this rucksack, I should just show you, this is kind of unique. It's a bit hard to find in a rucksack, but if you see rucksacks around and you find them, this one has a detachable clip, and because the straps are detachable, it means you can fit it around the bike in all sorts of ways, including put it actually across this here, and you can bring those straps across and hook it on down to the side. Not yet on this bike because of the absence of hooks, but that Milo there inside, the big one, I was able to do that no problem. So it's a really great way of having a very, very useful rucksack. And this particular rucksack here, it also has a trolley as well because it's got wheels in it. So actually I find this very useful if I'm locking it up securely outside a supermarket or somewhere. I can pull out the battery, throw the battery in here with my helmet and all of that, and lock up the bike and bring away the battery if I'm shopping, so that it's a good deterrent from thieves, because if they steal the bike they're not going to get the battery, and that's a real pain for them. It becomes a liability. So this particular rucksack is very, very good. So if you see one of those rucksacks, especially with wheels like this, and the make of this rucksack is, what is it? That's it, Carrymore. There it is. carry more, right? So that's the brand of this rucksack. They make a whole different range of them in different sizes. This is probably a bit on the big side, but nonetheless it's very good. And on this bike here, I was actually able to carry that. I was out yesterday and I had a jacket, and I didn't know whether the sun was shining, but I didn't know whether I needed a jacket or not. I was able to put a big jacket inside this, and I used a bungee strap to fit across this, and it doesn't interfere at all actually with the handlebars, and I was able to fly along no problem with it. So the front carrier on this is really good. It's proven again and again that you can use it for so many things. Okay, so these are just tips about using this particular bike if you have it. As I say, to ride in Pass 2 is really the way to go. I can't emphasize that enough. It's working out really good. It's saving energy so much. It's very, very good. And it's really fun, and it's working out very, very good if you're happy with 20 miles per hour. It is tempting to put on Pass 3 and ride like hell, and if you only have a short run across town, of course you can do that. But in the interest of saving the battery, really knocking around town at 20 miles per hour is fantastic. There's no problem. In the future, as I was saying previously in the videos, I will actually change this chain wheel and upgrade it in size, and that will help me go higher than 20 miles per hour without probably having to use Pass 3, I think. But right now it's good news all around. The bike is working out really good. It's really comfortable. The brakes, the brake discs they're beginning to wear down already. I think the original brake discs you can actually buy on the Fiido site. They're little round pads, 2.1 centimeters diameter. They're available for about €20 or something on the Fiido site, but I think I'm going to try a different manufacturer of pads, because in the past when I changed pads to different material, they work out better. I suspect that might be the problem with these. They actually do work very well, but they noise a bit. I had to clean the other day with alcohol. I had to clean the rotor, the brakes rotor, and that worked out okay for a while, but they do squeal a bit and all of that, so they're very, very good, but they're also, I think at the lever they're beginning to wear down quite a bit, so I'm going to have to adjust them here at the cables probably, and I think I'll change out the pads. I'll try different ones. Hopefully I'll get better ones, but they do work good, so anyway, I'm not really complaining. And other than that, it's really working out very, very well so far. It's proven very, very good. But sourcing correct saddlebags is a problem, and really I think there are saddlebags you can buy that go clean across here, and they join together between left and right with straps, and what you would do there is you'd remove this thing here, put them under the wood and feed them across in, and then screw back on the wood maybe for appearance's sake. And you would leave the saddlebags on. They're small and neat like this. You would leave them on permanently, I think. And that's probably a better solution for carrying. At the same time, I'm patiently waiting for the central console to come here from the Rad Runner company. It's on its way. It should be here maybe Tuesday. So that would be useful actually to carry stuff. Because right now I use this for carrying locks and all of this stuff. That's why I have to have this here really. Because I wouldn't want this falling off and losing it. It would be a disaster. Okay, apart from that, it's over and out. Thanks a lot. See ya.